Hello friends, welcome to Digital Learning. In previous lecture, we have seen the basics of Java programming. So, in basics of Java programming, we had seen what is the software, what are the component of software. Then we had seen types of software. Then we had seen types of programming languages like assembly, lower level language, high level language. Then we had seen about a difference between compiler and interpreter. Then we had seen programming methodology like object oriented methodology and processor oriented methodology. And in last we had seen how a program execute internally like C and C++ and or any programming language. In this session, we will learn why Java is a platform independent language and C and C++ program are platform dependent language. So through diagram, we will understand. So first of all, we will learn how to execute C and C++ program internally. So suppose uh, this is our program and our program name is X. So if we implement it in C, we will save as x.c, or if we implement this program in C++, we will save as dot sorry x.cpp. So this is our original code. This is also called original or user code. Now we will compile it. So through compiler, we will compile this program, compiler. Then it will be converted into object code. So here x dot object, x dot sorry object code. So this is also called machine code. So this is our machine code or machine understandable code. So that's why we called machine code. Now compiler will do two things. First one, it will convert our source code into machine code. Second thing, it will check for header file. If we include our header file, it will be code header file code into program. So basically there are two different things. First one is include and import. We use include in C and C++ programming language and import in Java. So if we use include, it will be include our header file code into program. And if we use import, it will include our header file code into program when it is required. So these are the sorry this is the main difference between include and import. So here this is our object code. Now we will run it. So this is run. After run, it will be converted into executable file. So this is called executable file. Executable file. So this is our executable file. Mm, So this is our executable file. Then we will forward to this executable file to our screen, and it will show output on the screen. So here this is our output. So this is the basic execution of any C and C++ program. Now suppose we want to run this program to remotely. So there are two things we will have to understand. First one is processor and second one is operating system. If any of these things are changed in remotely, we cannot execute our program into remote operating system, or we cannot our program remotely. So why? What is the reason behind it? So if we are talking about any processor, so each and every processor has different type of instruction set. Suppose we have Spark processor, Intel processor, or cellular processor. So each and every processor has a different instruction set. So one processor instruction set does not understandable by other instructions processor instruction set. So if there is any change of processor, we cannot run our program remotely. Similarly, if operating system is changed, suppose um, uh, so each and every operating system has different type of storage format. So one operating system storage format do not understandable by other type of operating system storage format. So if we want to run any program remotely, the client machine and um, destination machine should have same type of processor and operating system. If any of these things change, we cannot run our program remotely. So why C and C++ program are platform dependent? But if we see in Java, the same scenario follow in each and every, if we see in Java, uh, the same processor should we follow in Java, but in Java has a JVM. So what will do JVM? Basically, uh, now we will understand it by a diagram. So now we will create a new diagram, or we can say that execution of Java program. So suppose this is our Java program and its name is X. So we will save it as x.java. This is called source code. Now we will compile it by compiler. Compiler. Basically, Java use compiler and interpreter, both translator. So we can use any of these translator. After compilation, it will be converted into a dot class file, or we can say that it is an intermediate file. So dot class file is an intermediate file. So what is the class file? It is the bytecode file. We can say that it is a bytecode file because after compilation, it will be converted in our source code will be converted into bytecode. So this is called machine code, yeah, or we can say that bytecode. So this is our bytecode, bytecode, and this is called dot class file. So x dot class. After compilation, we will send it a JVM. So basically, what will do JVM? Basically, JVM is a Java virtual machine. This is called Java virtual machine. So this is our JVM. This is our JVM. Then we will so now this is our run the program. Then here we can see our output. So here our output. So this is our Java program. Here this is our source code. After compilation, it will be converted into bytecode. Then we will forward our bytecode into JVM. Then JVM will execute and print output on the screen. So basically what will do JVM? JVM understand where we are getting this dot class file. Uh, suppose we have developed a program in client machine, and client machine has um, Spark processor and Windows operating system, and um, after generating dot class file we send to a remote machine, and it has DOS operating system as well as Celeron processor. So JVM understand where we are getting this dot class file and where we want to run it. So each and every uh, system has our JVM. So JVM understand where we are getting this code and where we want to run this code. So it will convert client machine processor instruction set into destination understandable processor instruction set. Means it will be converted into client machine processor instruction set into destination machine understandable processor instruction set. Similarly, it will be convert client machine client machine storage format, sorry, client machine operating system storage format into destination machine operating system understandable storage format. So that's why Java is a platform independent language. It means we can develop program anywhere. We can run any this program anywhere. Mean we can run any program remotely. So basically, the JVM is the main uh, reason behind to run any Java program remotely. So that's how we can run our program remotely. Now we will learn about history of Java. So basically, the first name of Java was Stealth project. Then after some modification, it will become Green project. So the first name of Java was Stealth project. Stealth project. Then it will become, after some modification, it will become Green project. Green project. After some time, it will become Oak. And finally, Sun Microsystem introduced its name as Java. So basically, this is the history of Java. Now we will learn about uh, features of Java. So our sorry, our next topic is features of Java. What are the main feature of Java? So um, the first feature is simple. Why Java is a simple language? Because mostly you can see most of function classes and variable sorry most of library functions classes and all these things we are getting from C and C++, or most of syntax we are using in Java from C and C++, like math function or out in. So this type of variable function classes we are getting from C and C++ data. So that's why Java is a simple programming language. Second one is object oriented. So Java is a pure object oriented programming language. In further video we will discuss about it. So it is object oriented. So second feature is object oriented programming language. The third feature is distributed. Distributed. Why Java is a distributed? Because we can develop program anywhere. We can run this program to anywhere. Means we can run our Java program in any machine, or we can run in any we can run our Java program in any destination machine. So that's why Java is a distributed programming language. Fourth one is robust. Robust means strong. So robust. Robust means strong. So why Java is a robust programming language? Because Java has inbuilt exception handling as well as memory management. Because suppose in C and C++, suppose at the runtime we require any kind of memory. So at the runtime, there is no possibility to get uh, a runtime memory. So in previous language like C and C++, our program has been crash due to reason behind lack of memory, or we cannot get memory at the runtime. But in Java, the memory management facility provided by JVM. So if we require any kind of memory at the runtime, JVM provide it internally. So that's why Java is strong. In fifth point is secure. Why Java is secure? Because uh, in C and C++, there are there are is a, like pointer. So uh, Java does not support pointer because in pointer is a reference which hold memory of another variable. Means pointer is a variable which hold memory of another variable. Means it show address of any variable. So suppose someone know your address, so he can get he can catch you anytime from your address. So if someone know the address of any variable, he can directly access it. So it pointer breaks the security. So that's why Java does not support the pointer. So the sixth reason is system independent. System independent means we can run our program in any system. So system independent. The next feature is portability. Means portability means portability means um, uh, same output in every machine. Means suppose uh, if we run our program in any machine, we can get same output. The eighth reason is high performance. Why Java is a high performance language? Because in Java, compiler and interpreter execute any program simultaneously. So that's why Java performance is high. The ninth is multi-threading. Java support multi-threading. Multi-threading. So in multi-threading, um, sorry, we will learn about multi-threading in future. So we will discuss about it in later. Next is dynamic. Dynamic. So we can develop dynamic website or enterprise application through Java. So that's why Java is a dynamic programming language. Now, our next topic is difference between Java and C++ programming language. So now we will create a table. So this is our table. So here this is our C++ and this is our Java. So the first difference is uh, not pure object oriented, pure object oriented. Because in C++ we can develop any program without class. But in Java, if we want to create any program, we should use mandatory at least a class. So that's why Java is a pure object oriented language. So Java is a pure object oriented language. The second is contain pointer. So Java, C++ contain pointer. Pointer. Java does not contain pointer. Pointer. The third difference is uh, Java single plus multiple inheritance. So C plus support single plus multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Tense. But Java support only single level inheritance. Support single level inheritance. The sorry, fourth difference is in C++ there are three types of access specifier. Says specifiers, public, private, and protected. But in Java, there are four types of access specifier: public, private, and protected. Sorry, public, private, protected, and default. So three access specifier here, four access specifier. Four access specifier. And fifth reason is Java has automatic memory allocation. So who provide automatic memory allocation? JVM. So JVM provide automatically memory when we require. So JVM provide memory. Here user provide memory. User provide memory. And then six differences. It support operator overloading. But Java does not support. But there is an exception of plus operator, because we can use plus operator as for concatenating any string, or we can use for adding some numbers. So there is the exception, and this is only one exception in operator overloading. So not support operator overloading. So this is the difference between C++ and Java programming. Now our last topic is types of Java. So basically types of Java. So basically there are three types of Java. First one is J2SE. J2SE. This is also called Java Standard Edition, and we can also called Core Java. So from core, with help of Core Java, we can develop only standalone application like calculator. The second one is J2EE. It is also called Java Standard Edition. So with help of J2EE, we can develop enterprise application. And the third one is J2ME. It is also called Java Micro Edition. So with help of Java Micro Edition, we can develop mobile applications. So this is about this is the basic part of Java programming.